I'm going to assume that we're live now. So excited for everyone to see. We are now on the fifth and final day of the Break Your Barriers Challenge. And so we're going to go over the last key training run that you need to include in your training schedule for the summer. So we will be talking about the long run today. And this is going to be really important for those of you who are trying to increase your distance, obviously, but also for those of you who are trying to increase your speed, because being able to run a further distance will make it easier also to run run faster over a shorter distance. Okay, let's see. Now my computer seems to be catching up. Awesome. So I hope that all came through there. Perfect. For those of you, if it's your first stage joining us, I do have all the other videos back in the units, so you can go back and review days 1 through 4. They are going to be taken down on Monday, and so make sure that you catch up before then. Okay. Oh, great. Yes, the comments are coming in now. Hi, Mike. Hi, Letty. Hi, Rachel. Hola, Droopy. Hi, Simon. Thank you all for tuning in today. Perfect. And then I think most of you have your worksheet already. If you don't have it, it's in the units as well. And that'll be really helpful if you're needing to catch up as well. So I know most of you, but for anyone new joining in today, my name is Joy Lackey. I am a running coach, and I help runners achieve their time, distance, and fitness goals, even if you've tried to get into running before and haven't been able to stick with it, or if you've had to stop running due to an injury and you're trying to figure out how to get back into it safely. So let's see who else is joining in. Hi, Brittany. Hi, Christine. Hi, Luke. It's great to see you all. And anyone else who's watching, I know the people who've been on regularly know the drill, but if anyone's watching for the first time, I don't have any way of seeing who's on unless you are commenting. And so make sure you just drop a note to say hi. And of course, feel free to drop in any questions as well as we're going. And then also, if we haven't chatted already, I probably left you a message, and it will be in your filtered inbox if you haven't seen it yet. So feel free to check that out and ask me any questions that you have. I would love to hear how your training plan is going. Okay. Yeah, so we are on day 5 of the challenge. And so I'm really excited. I know that some of you have been doing great work. I've been seeing pictures of people's plans for their interval runs and their tempo runs. And today we're going to be tackling the long run, which is, I think it's one of the most satisfying things out there, is to just run the furthest that you have to see your distance increasing. So this will be really exciting. And then we also have, just so you know, and it's in the homework packet as well, today is the last day of the official challenge, but we have some great bonus days coming up. And so you really don't want to miss Jessica Rice tomorrow. She's going to be talking about high intensity interval training. And that's just such a great way to level up your fitness. She'll have some great tips as well. You know, she's a triathlete and a runner, so she really knows how that plays in with running. And then definitely send me all your questions, either about the challenge or anything else running related, for Thursday, because I'll be doing a full Q&A. And so I would love to have your questions for that. Christina Canizara is talking about training for triathlon on Friday. And then I'm really excited to have Kirsten Lackey speaking with us about nutrition for runners, specifically for runners on Saturday, because I get a lot of questions about that. And she's an expert. She's a registered dietitian, and she's an endurance athlete herself. So she really knows what's going to be helpful for runners and everything. Okay, so it's giveaway time. Let's see who else is on here. Hi, Linda. Hi, Robert. Hi, Stephen. It's so great to see you all back here again today. Oh, yes, happy Cinco de Mayo. Is anyone doing anything fun for that to celebrate? Just drop that in the comments and let me know if you have any traditions or anything fun you're doing for that today. Oh, hi, Melissa. I will, okay, yes, enjoy work and yeah, I'll be excited to catch up with you later. Okay, so the giveaway for today is it's this book. Well, it's not this copy of the book. You'll actually get a new one that's not all battered up. But it's Run Less, Run Faster. And this is actually what a lot of this week has been based on. I was really excited to find this book because it really lines up with my philosophy of running. As I said, I'm a massage therapist, and so I see a lot of runners after injuries have occurred and it's too late to do anything, or not too late to do anything about it, or it's too late to prevent it. And treating an injury after it's happened is a lot harder than preventing an injury before it happens. And so one of the things that I tell my clients all the time is it's great to run, but more miles and miles every day isn't necessarily better. And so this book, I was really happy to see this whole training plan and this whole philosophy that is based on having 3 really targeted runs per week, and then cross training that's going to support that, but really emphasizing that you have your recovery time as well. And so the winner for today, or from yesterday's giveaway, because I base it on who is doing the on the videos from the day before, is Christine Smart. So congratulations, Christine. I'll touch base with you later and figure out where to send that. And that is our last giveaway for the week, but make sure that you tune in for the bonuses as well, because that's going to be some really great information there. Okay, so we're going to get started today talking about our long runs. Okay, well, let's see before we get started. So, says it's her sister's birthday, so getting ice cream cupcakes. Happy birthday to your sister. And now I want ice cream cupcakes. That sounds amazing. Virtual 5K, making vegan tacos. That sounds great. I hope that's fun. Is there a theme for the 5K, or is it just a fun run? Okay. And then I would love to hear from all of you in the comments. What's the longest you've ever run in your life? I know that we have, everything from couch to 5K people to ultra marathon runners here. So I just wanted to see what the range is and how far you've all run. And then let me see. Okay, yes, I do have all my papers here. Okay. So with a long run is some of the risks and the benefits to endurance running and creating that and trying to extend your distance. So the benefits are really, it has some great benefits for your health. There are definitely some theories that endurance running is what helped humans evolve to what we are now and helped create who we are, because it created a new hunting strategy. We were able to run a lot longer. A lot of animals can run a lot faster but can't maintain that for so long. And so we were able to just run down prey and tire it out. And there's a lot of support in that, where the fact that we have legs, our leg muscles have really long tendons and then short muscle bodies, so it creates a spring for running. And then we also have really long legs relative to our body mass, and short toes that are really great for pushing off and pushing forwards. And then we also have a lot more sweat glands. You'll see dogs and cats kind of panting a lot because they don't necessarily have the ability to expel heat through sweat. And so there's just a lot that points to the fact that humans are designed to run long distances. And so, and we also know that from the fact to it, and that we're, that's a goal for a lot of us, that we enjoy it in spite of the pain. So that's really, so I think, it has the benefits for our heart and for our lungs and for our overall health. And there's actually even some studies, and this is all up in the air. A lot of people say don't start running because it's bad for your knees. But if you run consistently and you're taking care of yourself and progressing appropriately slowly and letting your muscles build up, there are studies that indicate that it might even have a protective effect for your knees because you are building the musculature around it to create that stability. Okay, we've got 17 miles, 20 miles. I think we have a winner there. Great job, Linda. 15.6 miles, 50 kilometers. Oh, yes, Christine is running the Hogwarts running team. Is that the wizard race? Because I've been wanting to do that too. And then 46 kilometers. Okay, that's awesome. That's such a great range there. Okay. So I also want to talk to you about some of the risks, and you're probably aware of a lot of them, but just something to definitely be tuned into if you, especially if you're wanting to increase your endurance by a lot. There's definitely the biggest one that you have to watch out for, of course, is heart issues. If you have any kind of heart issues or circulation issues, you should definitely see a doctor and just check and make sure that you're not putting yourself at danger of by endurance running. You also, that's really the big one that's really damaging. But there's other little things that you need to take into account. This is part of why I just have for normal. It's different for people preparing for ultras and things, but why we focus on the one long run a week is because you get a lot of inflammation, and so you really have to be making sure that you're taking care of yourself, eating a good diet. That's where things like Simon had mentioned a couple of days ago, ice baths or cryotherapy can be really helpful. Just be in tune that you are putting a lot of inflammation in your body, and we'll talk about some ways to help deal with that. And another thing that I think kind of gets people, and so again, something just to be aware of, is when you're really training for a distance, you eat a lot more calories because you're training a lot more. But then you have to retrain yourself once you're done with training and you've run the race. I know a lot of people get into running for weight loss, so you do have to be aware that you're going to have to cut down on calories after the race. And so it is kind of an interesting place that people get caught is they'll be super fit during training and then they'll start putting on weight afterwards because they're used to eating a lot more calories throughout the day. And then there's also the little things that just come up short term during the race. A lot of people will, or during the runs, some people will experience GI issues. Good nutrition can help with that. Cramps, again, having good electrolytes, that, but it's also kind of a natural thing that happens when you're putting a lot of stress on your muscles. And then just those musculoskeletal issues, the sore knees or the sore muscles. And so that's where having a really good recovery routine is really, really important for these long distance runs. Okay, so let's go over, do you all have your running checklist here? Let's see things. So I've got the running checklist here, and then if you have your homework packet, back to session 1, we're going to be going over this chart here. Okay, so what I've had you do for your tempo runs is kind of start where you are now and just build up by, it's different amounts depending on what you're training for, but by a half mile to 2 miles every other week and increasing your tempo in between on the other weeks. With the long run, I'm having you build up by the same amount, but every week. So if right now your comfortable distance is about 5 miles and you're training for a half marathon, then, for next week, your long run and your tempo run will be the same length. But then as you're increasing by half a mile every week for your long run, but half a mile only every other week for your tempo run, your long run is going to start getting significantly longer than your tempo run. And so that's a good way to start building up that distance without putting too much stress on yourself, so that you're not trying to do too much all at once, and you still have the tempo runs where you can focus on speed, and then the long runs where you are focusing more on that distance. I do have some recommended speeds here on the long run, but I don't want these to be as much of a focus for you, and obviously they're going to change a little bit as your length, as your distance increases. So these are some ballparks of what you might want to be aiming for, but really the long run is about keeping up that endurance. And then if you want to, let's see, my browser's not responding. I hope you can still hear me. Okay, it seems to be working again. Let me know if I cut out and I can say that again. Yeah, so these are some ballpark figures. If you want to be focusing on speed over distance, these are some ballpark figures that you can use here, but they're not the be all and end all. I want you to be focusing on taking care of yourself on that long run and increasing your distance, and actually increasing your distance rather than on speed at this point, unless you've done, several races. If you've done several races of the length that you're doing and now you're working on speed, then that's fine. But, oh yeah, let's see, what was I going next? Okay, yes, so the other thing that I, many things unclear. Sorry, okay, here we go. So 5K, 10K, half marathon, the long runs are all at least 2 or 3 miles longer than the race. For the marathon, it's the long run is shorter still. I'm making some assumptions about, so different people have different goals. So I'm kind of making some assumptions about what your goals are for these races in setting up this training plan. So I'm assuming that those of you who are running 5, 10K, and half marathons are aiming to set a new personal record in speed for those marathons or for those races. And so the reason why I have your long run being significantly longer than the race itself is so that on race day, you can get up, you can get there, you can do warm up mile so that you're fresh and ready to go. But then the race is still longer than what the race is still significantly shorter than what you're used to running. And so it'll still feel easy even once you put your warm-up time in and you're all ready to go. If you're training for your first 5K, 10K, or half marathon, then you don't have to build up to this long run as much. You don't have to do that much. If you don't want to, you can just do your long run to, just about the length of the race. Goal is just to finish and run the farthest that you ever have before. That's a great goal, and then you can adapt this training plan to what you need there. What I'm assuming with the marathon, and I know that this is not true for everyone, but what I'm assuming for the marathon is that are creating this program are running their first marathon. And so I only have, the longest I have you running is 20 miles in this. And I realize that's significantly shorter than the full marathon. But here's the thing is, especially if you're running your first marathon, putting a lot of stress on your body. And it really, you expect to be leaving several, 3 or 4 weeks after the race to recover before you can really get back into a running routine again. And so if you're trying to run 26 full miles in your training for the first time, that would set you back. That would reduce your performance in the marathon because now you've tired yourself out before the actual race. And so I would rather see you run shorter, knowing that you'll have willpower anyway, whether it's a training run or the race, but at least during the race, you'll have the energy of the crowd and the other runners and everything to help take you through that. And it saves your big achievement for race day instead of doing, if you just want the big achievement, the 26 miles on your own, you can do that on your own and celebrate on your own, but it saves the achievement. Your first marathon, the first time I've ever run 26.2 miles is on race day, and you haven't worn yourself out, so you're able to practice, or you're able to really enjoy that and satisfy, yes, and feel satisfied with that. The other thing that I want to point out with the long runs, okay, yes, so this was taper week. I want to talk about taper week. So the week, no matter what length you're doing, you want to taper your training and still go out on some short runs so that you're keeping yourself, in shape and active and everything, but you really want to be focusing on your nutrition and your recovery and taking those couple of short runs just to keep yourself active and your muscles moving, maybe go out on some bike rides and everything. So the tempo run and the intervals, you're going to just replace the week before a race with 2 short fun runs. But the long run, you want to be tapering at least 2 before the race and 3 before a half marathon or a marathon, so that you're not wearing yourself out, so that you're really coming into that fresh. So does that make sense? Let's see, what do I have? The long run should be fun. Thank you for the reminder that it's not speed, but distance focus. Yes, that's true. For those of you who are trying to qualify for the Boston Marathon or something like that, that's going to be a little bit different. But for most of us who are just trying to run a long race for the first time and just trying to complete it, it's just focused on the distance. Okay, so now we are going to go over this checklist here. We're going to go, this includes some ways to make the run enjoyable, and then also ways to make sure that you're staying safe as well. So especially for a long run, this applies for every run, but especially for a long run, you really want to be running in an area where you feel safe, where you feel comfortable. And so even if that means having to drive a little bit, I know different places have different regulations, so don't do anything that you're not allowed to do right now. But for your long run, I usually don't like driving to somewhere to run, but for a long run, I'll do that just because I really want to make sure I'm in an environment that is maximally conducive to me being able to perform and enjoy it. You'll also, in order to stay safe, okay, yeah, let's just go down the checklist. So I've got several points on here that are nutrition, and I'm just going to kind of blip over those a little bit because Kirsten's going to be talking about these in a lot more detail on Saturday. So you'll want to make sure that you have your pre-workout nutrition, then make sure someone knows where you are. It's, if something goes wrong, you want someone to be able to find you. And especially with the long runs, you're probably getting further out of, your usual haunts or your usual runs. So this is actually even more important for the long run than usual. Make sure that you have a belt or backpack or something for carrying water, phone, and keys. If you're doing anything over an hour, then you really want to make sure that you have water with you. So anything over more than about 4 or 5 miles. I know that for some people, your long runs won't be that long, and then you can use your own judgment of whether you need to take water or not. Anything over an hour, you really should be bringing water. And then your hydration should include electrolytes, which Kirsten's going to talk about a little bit more. The warm-up, and we talked about this a little bit on the tempo run, is I include the warm-up in the run just so that I don't start off too fast. So, the pace can keep up over 10 or 15 miles or however long your long run is going to be is going to feel really, really easy for the first mile. So that makes perfectly good warm up. And I don't really feel the need to add more distance to an already really long run that's not counting as part of it. So I include the warm up as part of the long run, but just make sure that you're starting slow. This is where you're probably really going to need to be watching your watch or your phone and make sure that you're not going too fast here, because it's really easy to start off too fast. Then I don't listen to music. I like just being out in nature and having the time to think and everything. But I know for a lot of people, the time goes by much faster and much more easily if you have a good podcast or a good playlist or something to listen to. So it can be, whatever. Just make sure that you have enough to take into account how long your run is going to be. If you can create a playlist that's 180 beats per minute, that'll really help you keep your cadence up, and that'll be really helpful. The other thing, and again, Kirsten will talk about this a little bit more, but you'll want to make sure that you're taking some kind of energy chews or something if you're going to be running longer than an hour. I was at a panel, listening to a panel of ultra runners, of women who are ultra trail runners a couple of months ago, back in the good old days when we were still allowed to have group gatherings. And that was one of the things that one of the runners said, was that if she's running longer than an hour, it's a discipline thing for her, where no matter what, at the 1 hour mark, she'll stop and take in nutrition. And this becomes important as you're doing longer and longer runs, because the last thing you want is to be at 3 hours into a marathon and take in your nutrition, eat an energy chew or something, and then your stomach suddenly starts to rebel and you start feeling really nauseous and everything. And so by having that discipline, if you're looking at building your endurance, by having that discipline of eating something, bringing in some kind of nutrition every hour, that helps, in her experience, kind of bring down the gastrointestinal issues and keep your stomach a lot happier and used to okay, I am going to have to be doing some digesting while I'm running as well, since those two things are usually mutually exclusive. So that's one thing to kind of play with as you're starting to get into longer and longer runs. And then at the end of the run, it's really important. This is where it's even more important to take some time and cool down. So no matter the length of my run, I always end, the last half mile on as out a sprint as I can make myself do, put all my energy into it and try to end on a good note. And then I'll just walk, I'll slow down and just kind of walk around the block or whatever it is for, another 10 or 15 minutes to give my heart rate some time to cool down, my muscles some time to cool down before they start freezing into a shape of sitting, like we talked about, I think it was yesterday. And then this is where it's especially important to do your foam rolling, do your stretching. You've put a lot of stress on your body. And so this is, make sure to take that extra time and foam while your muscles are warm, especially anything that usually has issues. Stretch out any muscles that tend to bother you. And then Kirsten will go more over the post-run nutrition as well. She'll have some great information on that. All right. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, so I got a question a couple of days ago that I thought I'd just bring up. I know we have a lot of people here who to run ultras, and that's a little bit outside of my area of expertise. I haven't run an ultra before, but I would say the advice that I've heard from ultra runners that I think is probably really, really helpful if you're doing a lot of mileage. It's actually more important to do 2 runs in one day so that you can get get used to that feeling of starting running again when your muscles are already really, really exhausted and you want to stop. So if you want to fit in a lot more mileage, but I would still do 2 runs each on 3 days rather than running 6 days, so that you're leaving your recovery time in and still having that, but you're getting that practice, you're getting that extra mileage, and you're getting that practice running when you're already exhausted. And of course, you can tweak that a little bit based on what works for you, but that would be kind of my advice for ultra running for that. Okay, drop in any questions. I'm going to post the homework thread this afternoon to see how long I'm planning to do your long run for. But we've talked a little bit about the risks and the benefits. You know, running is so good, and the long distance running, our bodies are designed for that, and it's so good for us to be able to it's good for our hearts and our lungs and our muscles to be able to run those long distances if we're taking care of ourselves. But there's some risks that we have to watch out for, ranging from heart attacks to sore muscles. So just be aware of all those. You know, make sure that your run is enjoyable. Make sure that you're staying safe, that you're hydrating yourself properly. This checklist is really helpful, and I've left some extra space here, both so that you can add anything else in that you realize that you need to keep track of, and so that you can take notes. I didn't put the I didn't make a worksheet for the bonus sessions, but this is a great place to take notes when Kirsten speaks so that you can kind of make a nutrition plan for yourself as well. So anyway, you guys, I'm so excited to see your training plans. I would really love to hear and keep in touch with how they go and how your training over the summer goes and everything. You guys have been great. I've really appreciated having you as part of this challenge, and just seeing everyone's engagement on the homework threads and everything. And so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the bonus days as well. So it'll be at the same time tomorrow. Yeah, the same time every day for the next 4 days. We've got those bonuses. So feel free to message me with any questions for the Q&A. And then I also know that some of you have been kind of thinking about and processing about the Rise and Run coaching program. So I'm just going to finish up now with the last 15 minutes or so, just kind of going over the elements and structure of that again for those of you who are interested. And for those of you who need to jump off now, thank you so much for joining in, and I will see you tomorrow as we talk with Jessica Rice. So. All right. Oh, yes, 39 miles, the Wizard's Race, that's the best. Thanks, Simon. Okay. So, yeah, so the Rise and Run program, if any of you are looking for a little bit more input, so I've tried to give you all the information you need to put together a great training plan for the summer, but I know that a lot of people, like, you can put together that information, but you really need some extra pieces. And I've tried to put together a program that includes the accountability to stick with your plan, as well as nutrition to really fuel that plan. That's such a huge part of your performance, is your nutrition. And then the mindset as well, because I know that we all kind of run into that, where it's like the days that you just really don't want to go out, or when you don't feel like you can do it, or you're just too depressed and you don't doing anything. So I've created the Rise and Run program to try to tackle all of those things together, and help you transform your physique, achieve your high performance time, distance, and stamina goals. And so for those of you who are really wanting to take your running to the next level, but you feel like you've plateaued, like I hear a lot of that from people, where you're not feeling like you have enough energy, so you're kind of tapering off if your diet isn't providing the that you need to support your running, or you might be holding yourself back because you don't really believe that you can achieve it. And then, you know, a lot of people are dealing with injuries and trying to get back into running. So, yeah, so I see a lot of people kind of stuck in that loop, knowing you could do better, feeling guilty that you're not, and just knowing that something needs to shift. So I really have put together a program that includes, so the core of the Rise and Run program is a personalized training plan. So it's created for your specific needs, your specific goals. The Break Your Barriers Challenge has kind of been a one size fits all thing, just because so many different people have so many different goals. So we're going to break down exactly what you need for over the course of the year to achieve your specific goals. The next big part is the nutrition program. We'll do that once a quarter. This is a nutrition program that I follow just to keep myself healthy, give myself energy. And so we'll do that all together once a quarter to really kind of retrain your body to want the nutrients that it needs and to enjoy eating those healthy foods and everything. And that kind of sets a baseline for you to eat healthy all year as well. So after 12 months of eating, fueling your body correctly, you're going to have so much more energy, and you're really going to see those results in your running as well as in your life and in your energy as well. We also go over recovery strategies. I have a private Facebook group for the Rise and Run program where I'll be posting videos of that we've talked about in our coaching program. We do the hour coaching session every week so that I'm keeping track of what you need, what's going on with you, and then I use that information to put it into the Facebook group of what foam rolling should we go over today, what stretches, you know, do we need to talk about massage or cryotherapy or infrared or any of these things, so that you can create a recovery plan that really matches with your needs. Then we also go over the mindset. I know that so many of us kind of get stuck, like we're going along with this constant negative voice in our head, and that's normal. It's not, you know, it's nothing wrong with you for doing that, but I'm going to teach you the techniques that I use that have really helped me overcome that and have a winning mindset so that I can be a top performer in life, at work, and everything as well. We know from placebo studies as well that having that positive mindset can recover faster. And so combining that mindset and that recovery and that nutrition, all three together, mean that it's a killer combination, for meaning that you can hit every workout with your best energy and get the most out of it. And that's what's going to really make the difference over the course of the year. And then we have accountability. Accountability is so important. We have a Strava group that we can work together, make sure that everyone's doing their runs. We'll have weekly check-ins, or we have our weekly coaching call, and then we'll have check-ins as necessary, you know, in the different areas you struggle with, to make sure that you're actually keeping your mind set up, that you're prioritizing your recovery, eating well, and that you're training to your full potential. So this is a 12-month program because that's what it takes to see that transformation. I can train you for a race in 3 months, and that's great. And there are definitely programs out there that will do that. But if you really want to see that transformation in your energy and be able to take that success in one race and see it continue to build over several races and expand that confidence into the rest of your life, that really, I want you to commit for 12 months so that you can really have that chance to see that confidence expand into every area of your life. All of these techniques that we're teaching are really going to help with that. And so including the nutrition plan and the mindset and the coaching, the price is $449 per month. Or you get a 20% discount if you sign up, if you pay in full for the whole year. And so that would be $43.10. And that'll be until Sunday. After Sunday, the doors close and the price jumps up to $549 a month, because I really want to encourage you to start to take that step now. and really make that difference in your life right now. I hear from a lot of people like, oh yeah, I want to do some coaching, but I'll do that later on. I'm too busy right now. And that's great. Being busy people are, to be honest, the most effective people. You need to get the most done you can in the smallest amount of time. And that's what this program is designed to help you do. That's why we have your 3 key runs that we're working on, and having you put in a bunch of junk mileage every single day. So if what you're doing now is going to get you the race goals you want in the fall, that's awesome. When the races start back up again and you're training now, you're going to achieve your goals. Great. But if what you're doing now isn't really going to get you there, really have to work on changing that right now. You want to make the change now so that you can see the goals that you want in the future. And so that's why I'm raising the price on Sunday, is just to kind of give you that encouragement and that extra incentive to jump on now and really start to take the team you've built this week and carry it on for the next 12 months. So I also know that a lot of you want to be able to handle this yourself, and that's great. I've given you all this information during the challenge, and I really want you to be able to take that and run with it and just be able to do what you need to do. But I know that for a lot of people, you really need that accountability, and you really need some other support as well. The diet and the mindset support. All the information about running is out there. You can Google it all. You don't need me to tell you how to run. But I found that having access to all that information in some ways just makes things more confusing. Like, I have to sift through all the information and figure out what works for me and try to patch together a plan from way too many different aspects of information. And so I found that having someone who can take that, narrow it down, give me a structure, frees me up to just focus on getting the results, working in that structure and getting the results. And so that's what I provide for you. I have a lot of knowledge of the body from doing massage, from doing running clinics, from doing running coaching. And I break that down and I narrow it down so that you don't have to sift through everything out there and try to figure out what the best plan is. And I bring the knowledge in to troubleshoot and tweak things as they need to be changed so that you don't have to do all that work. You'll find that elite runners don't even just have one, they have a whole team getting them to the level that they're at. And so I've tried in a way to replicate that with run program of bringing in the nutrition, bringing in the mindset, bringing in the recovery, so that you don't have to take a meditation class here and buy your protein powder there and set up an appointment with a dietitian there. It's all in one package for you. So that's going to be really, really helpful for you. It sets up the structure so that you can be really successful this year. So I just wanted you to picture, even in just 3 months being as part of this program, in 3 months, that's about, when I'm expecting races to be starting up again. And just picture that you're getting ready for your first race in a while and realizing that you've never felt more confident about a race because you've been training, you've been putting the consistent effort, you've had the accountability, so you haven't had those days when you just didn't feel like training. You've been consistent. You aren't worried about bonking during the race because you've been fueling yourself consistently and your body has the energy that it needs. You know that even if conditions are bad, you have the mindset techniques to be able to run through. Even if it's hot, even if it's stressful, you'll be able to finish that race because you have those mindset techniques that you can go through and get you to the finish line. And if conditions are great, then you might even get a new personal best. You're looking forward to the next 9 months, to the rest of the year, of seeing yourself improving, running more races and doing even better, setting new personal bests, and taking that confidence into the rest of your life, that sense of ease and focus and presence with your family, that sense of confidence and focus and efficiency at work. So up my schedule for the next couple of days for some free 20-minute consultations. I know that a lot of you are kind of thinking about this and really wanting to, really curious about whether this is going to help you. So I'm going to post the link here to sign up for some consultations. Let me just get this. So I'm posting the link in the comments here. You can sign up for consultation over, your running, your goals, what you want to accomplish, what you're experiencing, and just see if this is for you. Feel free to message me with any. You can sign up online for a consultation. And I'm so excited to see the transformation that happens with all of you over the course of the year. I've given you a lot of information, but there's so much that we can go into detail, personalize everything for you. So that's an amazing year, an amazing way to achieve your goals. So thank you all for joining in. I'm really excited to see what you've accomplished over the course of this week. I'll see you all tomorrow for Jessica Rice's talk on high intensity interval training. So I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow.